So, you can fix a board, then you can fix a bike. And if you can fix a bike, then you can fix a car. If you can fix a car, then you can learn to fix a Lynx Mark 8 helicopter, a Pacific 24C boat, a 4.5-inch naval gun, a Samson radar system, or a Type 45 destroyer. And when you can fix all that, you'll be a Royal Navy engineer. Start your journey. Search Royal Navy Engineers.
Although historical findings show that several ancient civilizations used elements of ciphers and codes in their writing, code experts say that these examples were meant to give the message a sense of importance and formality. The person writing the message intended for his or her audience to be able to read it. The Greeks were one of the first civilizations to use ciphers to communicate in secrecy. A Greek scholar named Polybius proposed a system for enciphering a message in which a cryptographer represented each letter with a pair of numbers ranging from 1 to 5 using a 5 by 5 square. The letters I and J shared a square. The Polybius square, sometimes called the checkerboard, looked like this. A cryptographer would write the letter B as 1, 2, as seen here, and the letter O as 3, 4, as you can see there. To encipher the phrase, however stuff works, the cryptographer would write this sequence of numbers because it replaces each letter with 2 numbers. It's difficult for someone unfamiliar with the code to determine what this message means. A cryptographer could make it even more difficult by mixing up the order of the letters instead of writing them alphabetically. Julius Caesar invented another early cipher, one that was very simple yet confounded his enemies. He created enciphered messages by shifting the order of the alphabet by a certain number of letters. For example, if you were to shift the English alphabet down 3 places, the letter D would represent the letter A, while the letter E would mean B, and so forth. You could visualize this code by writing the 2 alphabets on top of one another with a corresponding plain text and cipher matching up like here. Notice the cipher alphabet wraps to A after reaching Z. Using the cipher system, you could encipher the phrase how stuff works like this. Have a go at it yourself, you can see. Both of these systems, the Polybius square and the Caesar shift, form the basis of many of the ciphers used today. The Brihadishwara Temple, Tanjore, Tamil Nadu. This temple was dedicated to Shiva and is the magnum opus of Dravidian art. It was built by King Rajaja Chola in 1002 AD. In ancient days, Thanjavur, known as the Rice Bowl of Tamil Nadu, was an important city to the ancient Cholas. The Brihadishwara Temple amalgamates the best in tradition of temple building, architecture, sculpture, painting, and other allied arts. It is composed of many interconnected structures, such as the Nandi Pavilion, a pillared portico, and a large hall. Its Vimana, the roof-like structure that towers above the sanctum, sanctorium, or main shrine, is 66 metres high, ladies and gentlemen, of the ancient alternative view. Now, if those dates are correct, why are we finding nubs all over here? I'd like to see the engineers that were around then to have built these. However, parts of the temple may have been. I'm sure you've seen here that there's quite an array of different nubs. Now, in my ancient stone language, the first part, we've looked all over the world at different nub configurations. So, I can't zoom in too much further, but we can see the same sorts of configurations, i.e. square ones, circular ones. But again, they're too shallow to be lifting buses. Blocks are just far too small. Absolutely no need for them to be there. Unless, of course, they're a language. So today we've been looking at Polybius' square. Now, Polybius was Greek, so we can only go back to Greek times to apply the Polybius' square. And again, I've worked on maybe 150 different squares to try and break this code for you. And I'm hitting my head against a brick wall using the English language. However, if we look at this here, my starting points were, if we were going to make a grid, then it's almost like they were leaving us a nub block marker or a shadow to where we were to start. So I was starting my grids, ladies and gentlemen, from here and coming all the way across and doing that as a block. I've done 5 by 5 polybius squares. Notice that there's another one here, ladies and gentlemen, of the ancient alternative view. Now, alternatively, they could have started at this block and they could have come backwards across the wall, couldn't they? Now, there's so many of them on here, it stands to reason that we would be looking for specific blocks and they could be specific letters. Now, in speaking to my team, Ziggy Dan pointed out to me that maybe there is no X that marks any spot, which I'm in agreement with. But maybe it was a temple marker. But it seems a lot of work to go to just to give us the name of the temple, which the people over time have been given names to anyway. It looks more to me like they were embedding a language within here, ladies and gentlemen, of the ancient alternative view. Now, that's one of the most magnificent pictures that I could find on the internet of this temple. You can get fairly close to it, but not this close. It's took me a long time to do so. Now, let's just have a look here, ladies and gentlemen, at this photo. Now, again, this is a temple in India. My good friend Andrew at Ancient History Criticisms, I have been looking at nubs of India for the last 4 or 5 weeks with the team of Uchronia Utopia, Dave, Ziggy Dan, and we've found some seriously good examples, so I'm not going to ruin that by showing you every single one, but again, the same here, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see the nubs on the front of this building? Now, they're not just singular to the top up here where a polybius square might have been applicable, but also down in the foundations. Now, across the world at Baalbek and Jerusalem and so on, we see more of a bevel-edged phenomenon. Now, you can find bevel-edged blocks over here in India, but these nubs, look, they're exactly the same configuration of some of the Peruvian examples, ladies and gentlemen. Now, why aren't they on all of the blocks? Now, it's a little bit difficult with this, but I think there's been a bit of twitching up going on. Now, I tried again to apply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we're finding a nub there, the same polybius square to different points of these boxes to see if I could find a code, ladies and gentlemen, of the ancient alternative view. Now, it's becoming rather difficult because I don't think that the language was meant for our current English alphabet. There must be a different ancient key, because I'm getting rambles of letters on the paperwork of different, well, I've done hundreds of them, ladies and gentlemen. Now, look again on the front of this temple how they've split it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be the bottom, because you've got nubs on the bottom base blocks again. Now, I don't want this to distort too much for you, ladies and gentlemen, but if we go across here, exactly the same phenomenon, and they're all across the base layer here. Now, I'm just going to say this. If we were going to use this as a lifting boss, this goes all the way back down the temple. That would snap. That's not why they're there. Again, why would you have just him there? Why would you have just him there? Now, the polybius square that I did for this, ladies and gentlemen, actually came back with, again, another random set of letters, A, B, D, I, J, M, N, U, Y, Z, and again, not actually meaning anything. So I'm missing a key. Now, I'm working night and day to find you one, but at this instance, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still not able to place Polybius' square and sort of re-engineer his theory to find us the language. However, ladies and gentlemen, I have found something that might interest you. You knew I would. So, what it is, ladies and gentlemen, in Liverpool, I've designed a wall, and I noticed this. And being ex-Navy, this is Morse code. Now, my Morse code, I don't know it. I'm going to be honest with you. I was in the Navy a long time and I don't know Morse code. So I came and had a look for it. And it says, permission to come aboard. So there is, ladies and gentlemen, currently up-to-date languages written on walls. And this specific set is in Liverpool. So it proves that this sort of thing has been used down the years, which makes me even more adamant that the ancient nubs is a language. Could it be some kind of ancient Morse code, ladies and gentlemen? Could it be that they were showing us their roots around the world? We've seen that the nub architecture is on the four corners of the planet. Not in all cases are they a language. We've also proved that there are different sorts of nubs around the world. Andrew at Ancient History Criticisms does a great series on this. I'd suggest you get over there and catch up. Thanks very much to the research teams, Iggy Dan, Dave Uchronia Utopia and Andrew at Ancient History Criticisms for all your hard work and putting up with me. And thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen of the Ancient Alternative View. Believe you me, we are all working to crack the ancient nub language. The next port of call is Sanskrit. All the very best.